Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, ELDOA decompression exercise for a lumbar herniated disc. Now, first time here, well, subscribe. I make a lot of good content for those folks that are suffering with low back pain issues, such as sciatica nerve pain, herniated discs, bulging discs, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis. If that is you, then hit that subscribe button. You're gonna be notified, upload some great content onto YouTube to get you back on the road to pain-free recovery. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, today I'm going to be working on a very specific exercise stretch which works on assisting to decompress the lumbar spine, which will help you if you do have a herniated or bulging disc. Now specifically, it's going to be an exercise for the L5-S1 region. This is the #1 area. It's got the highest percentage of where the disc herniation occurs for humans. This is going to be part 1 because part 2, which will be next week, is going to be for L4, L5, which is the second most common place for a disc herniation. Now, ELDOA, it actually was invented by a doctor called Dr. Voyer. He was a French osteopath, many years of experience in different sports medicine modalities, and I first trained with him. He taught me the ELDOA method. There was a group of us back in 2005. This is my manual from it's like 20 years old. And I've been using this methodology with many of my clients to help them on their herniated bulging disc, pain recovery. It will help with things like, sciatica as well. It will help with things like lumbar arthritis, stenosis, etc. So it covers a lot of things. Now, this is going to be a reasonably long video, right? I don't want you to, please do not skip to the exercise itself, because I have to give you the background to understand the exercise components and what you're trying to achieve, okay? Now, the purpose of this exercise is to create a decompression. Now, yes, you get decompression machines, you can hang from a bar. Hanging from a bar is, I call it kind of passive decompression. You literally just hang there, let your body decompress. You'll hang over the side of a table perhaps, and you've got no control of where the decompression happens. All the tissues are, being stretched. Some people can hurt themselves doing it as well because it's just too excessive. They kind of hang and swing, Some of the machines as well cost thousands of dollars. I think it's the DRX 9000 they talk about, which is quite common in certain practices, and you'll pay 20 sessions, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 bucks. And again, it is not ideal because it's literally just sort of pulling you apart like this, and it can lead to more problems. The purpose of ELDOA is a normalization of the spine through a systematic fascial stretching component. So fascia is this clear, tough, fibrous substance which covers all of your body, covers all the muscles, it covers the nerves, etc., and it slides, okay, or should slide, right, as your muscles are moving. So it's connected from your toe up into your hips, up into your head, right? So we can put into tension that fascia, and it'll help us create certain tensions at certain points of the body by moving our limbs a certain way, okay? Now, if I wanted to, for example, create some sort of decompression, like a space creation, it's called decoaption, okay, at my elbow, and I just pull the stretch in one way, the whole thing moves. If I pull stretch the other way, the whole thing moves the other way. I literally need to have my lower arm getting pulled one way. I have to fix the central point, and I have to pull the other way, and that will create space, okay, here. Now, when Guy Voyer was sort of basically experimenting with this technique, one of the ways that he was showing that it actually was creating some decompression, he was doing x-rays before and after the technique on people, and they were showing millimeters of decompression. Now, the purpose of decompression is, from a herniated disc point of view, when you do that, it creates a little bit of suction to try to bring the disc back into that space, that the material which has been, pushed out from the herniation, try to take it off the nerve, okay, which will give you relief. Now, this is a primary result or a primary benefit of doing the ELDOA. However, there's something more deep to that, and that's the secondary benefits, okay, because as you're going to see, these exercises are quite hard. It takes a lot of pressure to put in tension all of the fascia. So you actually start getting quite strong holding yourself in a certain postural position, and it helps to normalize your posture. I've had many people who had, sort of upper kyphotic, upper back problems, stooped forward head carriage, etc., rounded shoulders, it even helps with scoliosis. And they would start doing these stretches, and week by week, month by month, they would start to straighten up. You're literally normalizing the body, okay, back into its sort of ideal position, if you were, to take stress off the variety of different joints, okay? So there's even more to it than that physiologically, but I do want to get to the stretch, okay? So let's just give you some understanding of what's behind this particular exercise. Now, sadly, Dr. Voyer, he actually passed away last year. He taught all over the world. I learned many things from him when I was in the US. I did the ELDOA, I did myofascial stretching, we did diaphragmatic work, abdominal work, we did pumping, it was this articular pumping exercise, many different things. Really well experienced, sort of therapist practitioner, okay? So I use these exercises a lot with my clients. Now I do apologize, there's a bit of a light reflection. I'm actually filming outside in my new home. So please apologize if the light will change because that's the sun is going down in the distance, okay? All right, so we're gonna be targeting L5-S1 disc bulge, disc herniation. Now you may or may not have sciatica pain with this, okay? Now I'm gonna show you different angles as well, all right? But I'm gonna talk you through bit by bit. So I'm going to talk about the legs first. Now we're going to be doing it on a wall. You need a wall, okay, a surface here that you can put your legs. Now, when I talk to you, I'm going to be telling you to internally rotate your legs like that, internally rotate, okay? I'm going to be talking about bringing your toes back towards your knees. So not pointed away, back towards your knees, all right? I'm also going to talk about bringing the inside edges in, okay? Not outside edges out, inside edges in, okay? So just keep that in mind. I'll be talking about internally rotating, toes towards my knees, and bringing the inside edges in. I'm also going to talk about turning my thumbs towards the floor, externally rotate to my arm, and pushing. Now pushing is very important. It takes about 40 pounds of pressure to really kind of stretch this fascial tissue, okay? So this stretch is actually, it's an active stretch. You don't just go and hold it and just relax there. No, you constantly have to keep pushing through the activity. Now that brings up a very important point. Because you're stretching tissue, this fascial tissue, fascia is 90% water. I always advise people to go very gentle with these stretches at the beginning, maximum 15-20 seconds, and actively start to increase your water intake for the first week anyway, by an extra 4 ounces of pure water a day, okay? Then the second week, add another 4 ounces in, because that extra hydration will help the tissue become more malleable, you help to stretch it better, all right? So, the other thing that's gonna be very important here is when I get you guys on the wall, is I'm gonna ask you to pull the sort of like lower back section here onto the floor, okay? Because we're gonna be pushing the legs up and you have to keep this point, this is the point here, the lower back, onto the floor. Because what we're trying to do, as I said in my elbow explanation, if this is my lower back here on the floor, my legs will be going one way, upper body the other. So we're gonna pull this to the floor to fix that point, and then we can drive the legs up and the arms away. Now, obviously we've got a fixed point, okay? So you're not gonna be moving, but you're literally fixed one point and then you pull both sides away. And that creates the decompressive tension at that spot, okay? I hope that is technically clear, but of course, hit me up in the comment section if there is any questions, okay? So, we've got a wall here. I'm gonna talk you through different things you wanna be aware of, all right? If you've got sciatica nerve pain, and I ask you to go up into the wall, with your glutes close to the wall, legs up there. This will probably be impossible for most people with really bad sciatica pain or tight hamstrings. You simply move off the wall, okay, as far as you need to. I'll show you from the angle. Doesn't matter if you're this far off the wall, wherever the angle is best for you is where you start, okay? Because these stretches are to everyone's individual maximum. So I've had people start literally 10 inches off the wall, okay? Sorry, yeah, off the wall. And like that was the height their legs were, and then they slowly crept in, okay? You will get better, okay? But in the beginning, we don't want to have any excessive pain. We want to be able to get into the stretch, feel comfortable, relax into it, and then put the stretch on, as I say, like bring the stretch into tension, okay? So I'm going to show you the full thing from start to finish and then talk a bit more about the technical side. So we're going to wall here, we're going to wiggle in to your individual maximum space. So, here I am. My legs are on the wall. They're about hip width apart, okay? Now, my lower back section, put my hand here. I want to pull that, so it's literally just below my belly button, sort of where the top of my shorts are, between my belly button and top of my shorts. I pull that section onto the floor, okay? Now, my legs, I internally rotate, toes back towards my knees, inside edges in. And I keep this. I don't lose it, I keep it, okay? When I say keep it, I mean don't lose the tension. Okay, I bring them in, rotate, toes here. Now I can hold this for as long as I need to. I'm not like screaming it. I'm just putting it here lightly into tension. I take my arms. There's my thumbs here. I'm going to bring them so my thumbs are externally rotated. Thumbs are on the floor. Okay, I tuck my chin in. I'm not sticking my head backwards. Okay, look at you guys. I'm not lifting my head off the ground. I'm here. I rotate my thumbs towards the floor. My biceps are close to my ears. Okay, I've maintained the tension here. That is the start position. I'm just going to relax for a second, okay? So that's your start position. So this time, we're going to get into that position, and then what you're going to do is you're going to imagine your heels are driving up towards the ceiling. At the same time, my hands are pushing away from me, okay? I'm driving up through my whole body, right? And the reason for that is when I do external rotation here, I put in tension all the fascia through my arm, through my lat muscle here, and the fascia here connects all the way down into the lumbar fascia. That region there is the biggest density of fascia in the human body. So when I start to push my arm, I put that tension all the way through into that lower back region. Now, when you start to do the stretch, it's quite common to feel extra tension in different places, okay? And that's simply because, mosquitoes, that's simply because you are going to feel it where you're most tight in that chain, okay, in that fascial chain. So just be aware that then, oh, but Colin, I feel it here, I feel it here. That's okay. Just relax into it. You'll start to release off and you'll feel it more in the lower back region. All right, so let's spin back down again. So here we go. Yes, it is mosquito season where I am. So if you see me slapping myself, that's because they're having a nibble of the Scottish guy. Okay, so internally rotate. Toes towards the knees, lock my knees, inside edges in. Arms, thumbs, externally rotate. Now, we're going to start by trying to drive the heels up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to push the arms away. As I do that, take a deep breath in, expand my stomach, and as I breathe out, push that section just below my belly button into the floor. Keep that lower back on the floor. Keep it there. And I keep pushing my heels up, I keep pushing my arms away. It's constant tension, don't relax the tension. Keep my chin tucked in, I can breathe normally. I'm pushing, I'm keeping my lower back on the floor, I'm pushing my arms, driving my arms away. Constant tension, constant tension, constant tension. We're gonna do it for about 10 seconds and relax, okay? Now, I'm just gonna show you that from a different angle so you can see from the side, okay? So I just want to show you this from a different angle, okay, so you can see the leg, lower back position, right? So I've got the wall, as I just discussed. We're up on here like so. Now, a lot of people, when they get in here, the lower back is stuck up in the floor, okay, stuck up off the floor. You want to pull this section here, so it's like in here, okay, onto the floor, like literally pull it down and it's stuck on the floor. So you don't have an arch, okay, your spine is actually completely straight, completely neutral in that position, all right? Again, rotate the legs, toes back. I will just talk about the legs right now. So I'm going to drive, when I drive those heels up, my back wants to lift up, okay? See? I want to pull that on the floor. Keep that down all the time. Legs are pushing that way. Arms, thumbs to the floor. They push that way. Put all the tension into here, into that lower back, lumbar fascia. Drive, and then you get that small separation of the lumbar back. It's not going to happen right away, okay? You have to practice it and get used to doing it, okay? It is a technically difficult exercise, all right? But again, and as I said, if there is sciatica problems, your hamstrings are very tight, you simply go off the wall as far as you need to, okay? To where you don't have that excessive tension, and you go from there, okay? So there is quite a bit of technical technique required with this. I have 2 other videos on this particular exercise, and I do admit it is very difficult to teach this over YouTube, okay? But I've had a lot of success with my clients with the videos that I use and the teaching tips, because you do need quite a good bit of awareness of your body. But the more you do it, the more you're going to feel it, the more you're going to be able to understand, you know, where you should be feeling it, okay? And what's especially important is keeping that lower back on the floor as you drive the legs and arms. Now, what I would start with for most people is 15 to 20 seconds, okay? Try it once, take 10 seconds off, try it again, 15 to 20 seconds, and that would do. If you only do it once in the day, do it before you go to bed. What I do for my clients and the people I give the free advice to, my free advice call, I say, look, try it, okay? One time before you go to bed, try it 3-4 times that week. If it feels okay, then I would try it 5-6 days the next week. Try to increase by sort of 5-10 seconds each time you do it, because you want to work up to 1 minute. You want that constant tension. Now, that does take time for the body to adapt, which is why I says don't jump in and try to do 1 minute off the bat. Also, power, how much power that you use, okay? You'll want to start with 50% of your power. So you're literally just putting the tension on and just kind of feeling where you are, okay? And as you get better, you can increase, because we'll go back into it just to show you again. When you go 100% power, and I start really driving my arms and driving my legs up the wall, you will get like a bit of cramping here in the side of my hips, maybe a little cramp in the front of your shins. If that happens, just relax off a little bit, okay? Shake it out for 5 seconds and go back into the stretch, okay? Likewise, a lot of people say to me, oh, but Colin, you know, whenever I rotate my legs in, my sciatica upticks, or the hamstring tension is too much. Okay, you rotate in as far as you can go, you feel the pain, you return back 5 degrees, that is your new position. Similar, oh, I've got impingement shoulder, I can't get all the way up here. That's okay. You come as far as you can, that is your start position, okay? You can modify it as much as you like to fit into your own sort of body ability, if you will, all right? So guys, there's other 2 videos going to pop up in just a second. That is also this particular same exercise, just taught slightly differently. Please do go and check them out, okay? If your herniation is L4, L5, you disc bulge, next week's video is going to be for you. So make sure you subscribe and check in for that, okay? Right guys, questions, comments, don't forget to subscribe, like, and see you next time. Take care.